these Islamic terrorists too, and all other terrorists too, they will begin to tell you about Timbuktu or Shenzhou. Shenzhou once said, "Kí ló kèmí àti Shenzhou? Kí ló kan sójà pẹ̀lú Shenzhou? Ṣé swap mọ́ Shenzhou?" That's what they do. Àwọn olórí burúkú dédé. So under them, we started hearing ungoverned areas in Nigeria. Mi ò gbọ́ rí láti jọ́tọ̀ ti bí mi. Since them born mi ò gbọ́ irú èrè láyé. I never heard them before. Until these olórí burúkús came. There are so many things that are glory, but they came, they normalized all of them. When you begin to question them, they will say, now you they cause the insecurity because you are not wishing them well enough. Like, you know, bunch of incompetent rogues. And you see, one thing about the incompetency is that patience in the patience in the hands of an incompetent doctor is an awaiting corpse in the you know, like ice fish in it. You know what I mean? The same thing with you know, an incompetent engineer that build you a house. He didn't build you, he's not building you a house, so he's building the rubbles where you are going to be buried in it. You see? Similarly, when you are in the hand of incompetent criminals with guns, you are not in the hands of the safe people, you are in the hands of the uniformed terrorists, you know, because everything to them, it will be like a person will be carpenter. You know what I mean? To them, everything na nail. No intelligence, no nothing. Just grab here and there. And then once they are like, Alpha, you don't do this grab for a while. Any improvements? They will say, go to Mecca, go to Jerusalem to go and pray for them because they themselves don't even understand what is going on anymore. Incompetent criminals. Adam. So all of us our lives are now in danger. It's always been in danger for those who are not living in denial, those who are living in that reality. So they cook lies, they push narratives, and then you come back and say, normally, if these things were true, there should be an evidence that they don't need to pay media guys, they don't need to pay data boys to go, you know, gaslight people on social media. People will feel it. They will see it. You get what I mean? I was, what do you call it? I was in our old student WhatsApp group, and there is this guy there. You would think, I'm not sure, maybe they are paying them more. Here you get. So the guy probably is on different, different other WhatsApp groups. Here you get, where they are sharing Tinubu's achievements. And when they are not sharing that, they are sharing the details of people who don't want Tinubu to succeed. So at first, there was a day, I think he went to go and copy something somewhere. All right. And I think it was the price of food. Here you get. And that was the time when people were buying a bag of rice for 110,000, 100,000 naira. Here you get. So then the next thing, this guy just came by and said, the price of food has come down, has crashed because of Tinubu. That Tinubu's policies are now working, right? That a bag of rice is now sold for 40,000. So you get one guy where they said our group, right? About call him Tuli, right? So this was me reading all their comments back and forth, all of them. So that was initially trying to say, what is wrong with you now? For where? Why are you like this? What is wrong with you? And so he will be responding to all of them. Are you, is he OB? Is any small thing? It will just be like, is he OB now? Is he OB that? I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Right? So one of these days, right, he now posted something and that literally came and said, wow, he didn't type, he didn't respond by typing. He just left a voice note in Yoruba. And it was like, well, if you like say we will begin, I'll kind of like loosely translate it because of time, okay? So he was like, and let me just tell all of us in this group, because me, I don't understand what is going on in this group anymore. If you like say we are going to start looking for ourselves, I will begin to beat ourselves up. We will begin to like, you know, harm ourselves. So with all this nonsense that this one is posting here. So when I listened to that, I could kind of like imagine his state of mind when he was leaving that voice note. But over time, everybody just kind of like just ignore, not engaging anything of their propaganda they are pushing through different WhatsApp. So 2 days ago, and he now saw again, he came back, right? In this graphic designed lies that they are currently pushing. I don't know if you have come across them. That Tinubu has paid off IMF loan. And it's an achievement, right? Then they went further to say Tinubu had also added $25 billion to Nigeria foreign reserve in 2 years, right? Oh, hang on. I think I have a copy of that. Let me put it on the screen, and I'm going to talk about it. So they said Tinubu paid backlog of 4.5 billion. Tinubu built external reserve that it was, they said Tinubu made 3.9 billion and he has increased it to 25 billion, which is also a lie. I mean, some of you watching this can start seeing the liability. Don't worry, I'll take you through them. They said Tinubu paid off 3.4 billion IMF loan. That is also a lie. Then Tinubu cleared about 30 trillion ways and means. This 30 trillion was the money printed by Bokwari and Emefiole. That Tinubu has cleared that. That's also a lie. Guess what? I wanted to go in there to say something. I realized that it's got passed too, right? So, and he said, "May you succeed?" And like one or two of them came by and said, "Amen." But people have kind of like ignored. And this was also the same guy, right? That because of this attitude, because of this unpaid promotion of APC, so it has reduced people's involvement in what has been planned as a group. Like, I don't want to be involved in that anymore. Sorry, I'm not interested anymore. People have actually told me that, no, I'm not interested anymore. Okay. So this guy came back, somebody that is always in the WhatsApp group, Post Student Association, promoting Tinubu. You now came back and said, our people are going through a lot too. That you have an idea. That those of our friends, he lives in Abuja, by the way, said those of our friends who live abroad, some of them who have money, that we should probably come together and see what we can do to help all our friends that are struggling, because things are really, really tough for people. Guess what? These are people that have jobs. So these are not jobless people. I'm talking about my old schoolmates that actually have, some of them have their own businesses, so but they are going through hell. Somebody within there is telling them that things are getting better. Do you see the irony, the contrast, right? Now let's take a look at this sharply. 4.5 backlog of Forex. How many of you remember that time when what do you call it? What do you call them? Sheikh Qatar, I've been Emirates, right? And then the UAE put a travel ban on, or placed a travel ban or visa ban rather on Nigeria, simply because Bukwari's government won't let them take their money or their profit from Nigeria. In that category, that time, yeah, the total amount of businesses' profit that they want to take out of Nigeria was put at, I think it was $10 billion. That's a lot, right? 10 billion, 10.5 or so. So the problem now was under Bokwari, when this money was supposed to be with the central bank, the idea was, yeah, whatever they make in Nigeria, right? After paying their taxes and everything, they would take their money out in dollars. That was the agreement. But suddenly they couldn't take their money out. it started, I think it started from 2020, 2021 or something, right? So they couldn't take their money out. So in protest, some of them canceled their business relationship with Nigeria. And then the UAE went as far as placing a visa ban on Nigeria. So the argument, when Tinubu now came, you remember when he went to UAE? So his own argument was that, listen, from what we gathered, back then, a dollar was 400 naira to $1 when you had your 10 billion. So your 10 billion at the time was like $10 billion was like maybe 4 trillion or something, Nigeria money. But today, it is now over 15 trillion. So if Nigeria want to pay it back with the devalued naira, Nigeria will be paying times 3 or times 4 of what they should have paid on their Bokuwari. So he wanted to renegotiate that. So there were like a few of them that was like, you know what, let's just cut our cost, our losses, and take whatever they offered. So at the end of the day, out of 10.5 billion, Tinubu's regime, they negotiated with those ones who are ready. Those who were not ready, they just cut them off like they don't exist. As if to say the loan, the debt or their money will never be reclaimed by, from Nigeria again. They will still need their money. They just didn't agree with the deal Tinubu pushed. So in that, they agreed to pay 2.4 billion. Now, they don't increase that 2.4 billion to 4.5 billion. Tinubu never pay any backlog of 4-something billion. There is no record of that. Right? Now, let's go to this. Tinubu built external reserve. Bokuwari used Nigeria's external reserve to take a loan from Morgan Chase. And what's the other one again? Two of them share in America. $21 billion. Nobody knows what they did with the money till tomorrow. So that simply means that when Bokuwari was now leaving, he left the balance of $33 billion. But out of that 33 billion, it was more or less like, if these guys decided to just take their money from it, Nigeria will have probably less than $11 billion left as their foreign reserve. So the loan is still there. They are still kind of servicing it all. So Tinubu made 32 billion. Where did they see 3.9 billion? You see how propaganda works? They have pushed this thing throughout different WhatsApp group as you are watching this video. I know, I don't know, maybe some of you have even come across them, right? There was nowhere that Tinubu now says is now. So what they are saying now is that he moved the external reserve, right, from 3.9 billion to 25 billion. So is that not an indirect way to tell us that the balance of Nigerian foreign reserve is now 25 billion? Now, I'm going to kind of like take that because there is nothing 25 billion in this because it's a two-way thing, right? Number one, Tinubu didn't meet 3.9 billion. He met $33 billion as of 2023. In fact, as of 2024, they once bragged that they've taken the 33 billion, they've taken it to 35 billion. I don't know if some of you can remember. They bragged about that, I think it was last year, right? That they've taken it to 35 billion. So if I want to see, if I'm now seeing 25 billion in a picture, so I'm going to say, okay, Tinubu sold crude oil, saved money. He has now added 25 billion to your foreign reserve. So that balance should be 25 plus 33. That's 58 billion, not 25 billion. But if they are telling us now that it is 25, that means somehow, about $10 billion don't disappear from your foreign reserve as we speak, if people can probe that too. Because there's nowhere, nothing 25 billion in Nigerian foreign reserve, nothing, no figure to correlate with that in all available data, nothing. That's not just that. Oh, the IMF loan. Here's the truth about the IMF loan. Number one, IMF is the least lender to Nigeria. The only time IMF gave Nigeria a massive loan was during the COVID. And what happened? The global, COVID, whatever at the time, put together a package for all countries all over the world. I mean, most countries, right? And then they were like package COVID-19, $3.4 billion. Nigeria was to pay back $4.1 billion. Immediately the money was released, $3.4 billion. It developed wings and disappeared. Till today, nobody could give account of what they used their money for. But somehow, as at 2023, when Bukwari was leaving, the balance to be paid back, because the arrangement then was that Nigeria will pay the money back after, starting from 2022. Well, somehow they managed to actually pay back about $2 billion of that money, leaving the balance of $1.4 billion as of 2023. Again, Nigeria paid the debt back. Was paying back the debts, even though Nigerians can't say what they used the money for, right? So 1.4 billion to be repaid, plus the interest, maybe 2 billion. Maybe 2 billion. So Tinubu and Wale Ejun and Co. in one of their deals of all these loans they took in the last 2 years or under 2 years. Part of the arrangement was for Nigeria to be paying back $304 million every month, direct deduction, in which for credit, we'll say credit to Tinubu and his gang, they were committed to. The last payment of that was cleared in April, which was last month. So now this payment is what they have now actually claimed responsibility for the repayment of the whole thing. I'm not saying they didn't, but they didn't pay 3.4 billion. Tinubu did not. Nigeria paid back $4.1 billion. And out of it, Tinubu and his gang probably paid just 1.4 billion, but they did pay because it was an arrangement to clear that, COVID loan. But is Nigeria still indebted to the IMF? Yes, Nigeria is. But how much? Maybe I don't have the actual figure. But the real country between IMF and World Bank is actually the one that is more kind of like committed to impoverishing Nigeria when it comes to the kind of debt they have given to Nigeria. The conditions too. Oh, the last one, the last lie. This one is so recent. You all remember when Tinubu did a national broadcast, and he claimed to have cleared the 30 trillion naira that Bukwari printed 27.5 trillion, from the Central Bank of Nigeria. At the time, the value of the 27.5 trillion naira that Bukwari printed in 8 years was $50 billion. Nobody, not a single person, can give account and say this is what they used the money for. Now, you see this loan, Bukwari and his gang already broke the law, right? By turning the Central Bank of Nigeria to printing press, minting money just for them every month. So what did Tinubu do? In order to look good on paper, right? Like other bonds that they have committed Nigeria to, and they've taken the money and they've spent the money. So what they have done is, what they did was that they now securitize the loan, which means, the central bank, which is the lender, central bank, which he controls with Odudu Emefiole now, right? So the central bank will say, we are the lender. Now what we're going to do is we're going to securitize this loan, meaning you don't have to pay it now. So in our book, we are going to say, you don't owe us. But in 20 years' time, you can start paying back the money. I don't understand this kind of economic arrangement too, but they shall have a name for it. They said it is securitizing the debt. So it will look like Tinubu will tell himself and say, the loan